Good evening. The lesson today is called Reading Power Mind Text. Hi, this is AJ. Time for the next lesson. This is one of my favorite topics by one of my favorite people. So I want you to be extra happy, extra strong body, and physiology for this one. So stand up straight, get those shoulders back, chest up, breathe deep, get that air going in there, energy your body, big smile, yeah! Make everyone think you are super crazy. Now move your body, come on, get it moving now. If you are standing, you just kind of wiggle around, move this arm, move these legs if you can, start walking, get the blood going, get the energy going, let's go. Are you ready? Alright. This lesson is called The Power of Reading and it comes from the article by Dr. Stephen Krashen. He's one of my favorite people in the world. Dr. Stephen Krashen is probably the number one expert and language learning and language teaching in the world. He is just an incredible professor, an incredible researcher, an incredible intellectual. He has done an incredible amount of research on the topic of learning languages. And today we are going to talk about just one part of this research. Really, effortless English is based a lot of on Dr. Stephen Krashen research. All of the methods we use, but we are going to talk about just on one particular method, one particular idea, very strong idea that's come from Dr. Stephen Krashen and his research, and that is the power of reading, specifically is the power of pleasure reading, is the power of easy reading. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But first, let me read a little bit from this article. Now, this article, and you might guess, is about the power of reading, and Dr. Krashen did a lot of research about reading, specifically about how the people native speaker and people learning foreign language, how do they learn vocabulary, how do they get one good grammar, how do they get excellent writing skills. One of the most important methods is writing for pleasure. Now when we talk about writing there, we are kind of two different ways to learn in reading. Even for small children learning a native language. Now one method, the old method, is that you learn writing skill. So you have to study and analyze vocabulary, for example. Okay, okay. Spelling in English is very difficult and tough, so we have to study that a lot in school. That a lot in school. Well, we don't have to, but often with all methods and all teachers we do. We study spelling, we study vocabulary, and we learn all these skills. We use all these textbooks to learn, and of course, people learn new language and foreign language. Will guess what? Will guess what? You do that same thing, right? You learn textbooks. You are reading all these textbooks, and you are typing to learn all these reading skills. No, it's other way. Now the other way, the other method, and this is the method. In fact, Ducks were much better according to Dr. Crashin's research, according to a lot of other research. It's just reading for fun, imagine that. And what that means is reading a lot of too easy books. Now for children, that might be comic books and might be used in children novels, and it's just reading in other words. We learn to read by reading. We learn vocabulary from reading. We learn a lot of our grammar from reading. We learn our reading skills from reading. Not by analyzing and studying grammar, not by trying to memorize vocabulary. And if you read something, it's very easy. You know most of the words. And then you find a new word, you don't need to memorize it. You will start to understand the word used because you understand the general meaning of the story. You understand the whole paragraph. You understand the sentence. So that's one word you can guess the meaning and then guess what happens. You see the new word again somewhere else in the book. And then you start is in the different situation, a little bit different paragraph, a little bit different sentence, and now you understand a little bit more. Then you see again in another paragraph, nowhere else in the book, and over time, you will naturally learn the word. Okay, you will never try to memorize that. You will never study, but you will learn it. You will know it forever. That that is the best way to learn vocabulary. There's a lot of research about this. They compare people who try to memorize vocabulary with books, with textbooks, with apps. That is. And then other people who learn just by reading easy books all the time. They are reading novels all the time. There are reading. With group of people learn more about vocabulary faster. The people who are just reading for fun, they are just reading a lot of fun, easy novels and books. Those people have much bigger vocabularies than people who are actually trying to study vocabulary. It's the same for grammar. People who are studying grammar study grammar rules, study grammar textbooks, and then other people who are just reading lots of novels, they are reading all the time. Comic books, novel articles, stories. The readers have better grammar than the people who are studying grammar from textbooks. It's a huge difference, and the more you read over the time, the bigger the difference. The bigger your grammar gets compared to people who are using textbooks, so this is a huge topic. It is so important. So let's read a little bit from Dr. Crashens and then we'll talk a little more. Okay, this is from Dr. Crashen. When the second language learner read for pleasure, they develop the competence they need to move from the beginning ordinary, conventional level to a level where they can use the second language for more demanding purpose, such as the serious study of literature, business, and so on. When they read for pleasure, they can continue to improve their second language without classes, without teachers, without study, and even without people to converse with. Oh, I don't know. When we read, we really have no choice. We must develop literacy. We rarely find well-read people who have serious problems with grammar, spelling, and so on. And they write assertively well because they can't help it. They have consciously acquired good writing style, as well as a conventions of writing or problem in language education. As Frank Smith has pointed out, is that we have confused cause and effect. We have assumed that we first learn language skills and then apply these skills to reading and writing. But that is not the way the human brain works. Reading for meaning, reading about things that matter to us is the cause of language development. So very interesting. What does that means? So what it means is that you don't first learn skills. You learn writing skills. You learn spelling skills. You learn how to do a sentence. You learn how to make a paragraph, and then later you can read and write well. That's exactly the opposite of what actually happens. What actually happens is you read and you read and you read sentence, you read paragraph, you read stories. You read books, you read novels, and after reading so much, you subconsciously, you intuitively acquire, learn great reading skills, great writing skills, great vocabulary, great grammar, It comes from reading a lot for pleasures. The reading comes first, and in fact, I will add listening to that, and Dr. Crashing as that as well. This article is about reading, but in fact, listening at the same thing. So while you are reading and listening a lot, that is the first step, and you need to do so much of do it. And you be a you be a god to read and listening for a pleasure, for fun, a lot. Now the good news is you have to do is a lot of, but it's fun, it's easy. You are listening to stuff you like, sweets, okay. You are reading stuff you enjoy. You are not thinking about grammar rules. You are not thinking about vocabulary. You are just reading and listening and enjoying yourself. Do you do that first? The grammar skills is then come later. Come from the listening and the reading. The grammar is important, but come from listening and reading. And the writing skills come from reading a lot. Your vocabulary comes from reading a lot and listening too. Your pronunciations come from listening a lot. Yeah, that's right. It's the input that is the most important and specific kind of input. It's good to be meaningful, real, enjoyable, pleasure. So that is the power of reading. Now, I'm not going to talk about all the specific research studies in this book, but if you like to get this book, the book is called The Power of Reading. That's the title. The Power of Reading is by Dr. Stephen Krashen. Now Stephen spelling Stephen, and Krashen is spelled Krashen. So Dr. Stephen Krashen, and the book title The Power of Reading. You can get it on Amazon.com. And so if you want to see all the huge number of research studies of different universities around the world about this topic of reading and learning better grammar skills, better vocabulary, better speaking, better pronunciation, if you want to see the proof, the evidence, then get his books. Yeah, it's a very interesting books, but in the beginning give many statistics and you have very patience to wait for the core of the topic. You can look all of the different studies. There is so many of them, but I know if you trust me, you can take my word for it. You can trust that I am trying to help you as best as you can, that I really care about about you. You can trust that this is in fact how it works. That if you want to write well, if you want to have a great English vocabulary, if you want to have a great English grammar, you need to read and read and read. And what you need to read are novels. Novels are the kill of easy novels. So where is my rule? What does easy means for you? My rule is you should not need a dictionary to read this book, to read the book. So if you grab, let's say, you grab a book by Stephen King, kind of famous writer in the United States, you get the Stephen King book in English, of course, and you start reading it, but there is so many words you don't know, and you need to dictionary. Yeah, you get your dictionary, and you are looking up all these words. Well, it's too difficult for you, and if you need a dictionary to understand it, it's so difficult. Okay, so put in aside and wait. You can read in later when your reading skill is higher. Yeah, but for now, find an easier books. I recommend children's novel. I think they are fantastic way to learn. You can get the Goosebumps books. For example, there is whole series. They are for kids. They are called Goosebumps, and there I don't know how many there. Probably 30 or 50 of them. Okay, they are short and they are pretty easy, and you can probably read them without dictionary. What you should do is read all of them, read all 30 of them, and read them, use enjoy them, and don't use a dictionary. If you see a word you don't know, just guess the meaning and keep reading. If you are wrong, it doesn't matter. You will see the word again and again and again. Eventually, you will understand the word. You will need to dictionary just to enjoy the story. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I confess I use the Kindle, the e-reader, tablet. I use the dictionary is more fast, more easy. The if you I use the translate all the words. I stop my speed reading by I read one word I don't know, and I continue reading the one word sudden, and I continue reading, but I stop and translate very fast and continues reading. But it's many easy in the Kindle. Yeah, but if you use textbooks, is physical books, is very complicated. Looking the dictionary and continue reading is very complicated. Okay, and continue reading. Okay, another set of books I really are I okay another set of books I like are the Hardy Boys books, and these are so all I read them when I was a kid. And there another series of book called Nancy Drew. Yeah, I read Nancy Drew. Yeah, maybe 10 months later, 10 months ago. So the Hardy Boys books and the Nancy Drew books, another set of kids books, kids novels. They're fairly long, but not too long. Yeah, yeah. They are really great if you want to do a lot of pleasure reading that does not require a dictionary. So, so again, Nancy Drew books and the Hardy Boys books, and again, there are so many of them, 20 or 30 or more in each series. Yeah, you can read the whole series. Okay, I tried it in the future. Yeah, of course. Um, you can read the whole series if you want to, and of course you can just go to any bookstores that has English books. English books. Look in the children's sections, okay, or the young adult sections, teenagers, you say, maybe. Another series of books is like are the by Roald Dahl. I think Dolph is DAHL. Is I am right? Anyway, he wrote books such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, I watched that movie. And Jones and the Giant Fish. I don't know. He's a god of a lot of books, so you could look for some of those. And of course, there are movies that go with these books, so you could watch the movies too. Yeah, and instead of them, you can also get audiobooks. You know, this is something I think is really great. Yeah, yeah, and you can find an audiobook and regular books you can read, and you can read it and then you can listen. Yeah, do it at the same time, and again using children novels. Okay, this is a good recommendation, you know. And sometimes I use that instinct, is very powerful, you know. And so read a lot of children's novels, and after you finish all the Hardy Boys books, and after you finish all the Ghostbusters books, then find a book maybe by Stephen King, or maybe is that still too difficult, then find sometimes for young adults. Yeah, and then read a lot of those books eventually, probably within 1 year time. If you are reading all the time, if you are reading every day, while in 1 year you will be reading adults novels, you will be reading the same books. mm, that I read the for pleasures, for fun, for native speaker read. But I don't start here. Go back and you start with children's novels and read and read and read and read. Your grammar will improve automatically and effortlessly. Your vocabulary will explode. Yeah, it will increase so much so fast. You won't believe it. It's amazing. So please follow this. Reading is so powerful. That's right. It's so powerful, but it has to be reading for fun, reading for pleasure. All right. I hope you enjoy this topic. See you next time. Yeah, that's right. It's as powerful tool to improve your language skills. Yeah, I need to speak more because if you notice, when I advance my reading text, I improve my pronunciation, you know, because not always speak with other person or speak with myself, you know. I try to speak more and more and more every day. Um, that's it. It's all for this time. And give me a like from this video. See you next time. Bye bye.